I stood in the doorway, holding Emily's medical diagnosis in my hand, the words, Stage 4 cancer, screaming at me from the page. It wasn't just paper. It was a death sentence, unless we found the money for her last chance at treatment. My children, Eric and Laura, sat at the table, their eyes glued to their phones, the glow of the screens reflecting their indifference. "Help me," I pleaded, my voice breaking. "It's your mother. She needs us." Eric didn't even look up. "That's your problem, Dad," he snapped, his thumb scrolling across the glass as if my words were nothing but background noise. Laura gave the faintest nod, her eyes never leaving her screen, her silence agreeing with him in the cruelest way possible. A month later, Emily was gone. She passed away quietly in a hospital bed, the monitors going flat while my hands clutched hers. And Eric and Laura, my own children, didn't even come to the funeral. Not a call, not a word. Empty chairs where they should have sat. The betrayal cut deeper than the cancer ever did. That night, as rain pounded against the cemetery tent, I swore that their indifference, their selfishness, their betrayal would cost them everything. I wasn't looking for blood. I wasn't looking for violence. I wanted justice. Cold, patient, unshakable justice. I still remember standing in Eric's luxury apartment weeks earlier, clutching Emily's report in my fist like a weapon. The Chicago skyline glittered behind him through the wall of glass windows, his world all chrome and leather, pristine and untouchable. He sat there, sprawled across a leather couch, scrolling his phone with that smug detachment. Laura perched beside him, admiring the diamond bracelet on her wrist, her perfume sharp enough to sting. "Please," I begged, my voice cracking, "it's your mother. She needs treatment. She needs you." Eric didn't even look up. "That's your problem, Dad," he snapped, his thumb scrolling across the glass as if my words were nothing but background noise. Laura gave the faintest nod, her eyes never leaving her screen, her silence agreeing with him in the cruelest way possible. I dropped the report on the table and walked toward the door, my legs heavy, my heart torn. I stopped, glanced back, and saw them both already returning to their screens. Not even a flicker of guilt. The door clicked shut, and in that moment, I knew. I had lost my children. I sold my car, drained our retirement, begged the bank for loans. I did everything I could, but it wasn't enough. Emily grew weaker, her smile fading day by day until it disappeared entirely. I held her hand until the very end, whispering lies I wish were true, telling her that Eric and Laura sent their love, that they were thinking of her. She believed me, because she trusted me. And then she was gone. At the cemetery, the rain tapped on her casket like a cruel metronome. I stood alone. Alone. After a lifetime of sacrifice. My children didn't even send flowers. And as the priest's words droned into nothingness, I made a silent promise. They would feel this pain. They would taste this emptiness. That night at home, I opened an old family album, pictures of Eric's first car, Laura's wedding, vacations I had paid for with money scraped from overtime shifts. Every photo was a reminder of love I had given and gratitude I never received. My hands shook as I slammed the album shut. Enough. It was time to stop being the father who begged and start being the man who took control. I called old contacts. Tom, a lawyer friend. Susan, who worked at Eric's firm. Ron, who owed me favors. Piece by piece, I began gathering threads of my children's lives. Susan whispered over coffee, her eyes darting nervously. Eric had been cutting shady deals, hiding numbers, bragging that he was untouchable. His arrogance was about to catch up to him. Ron slid a folder across his desk. Laura was drowning in debt, living a facade of wealth while creditors circled, designer bags and empty bank accounts. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, Emily's old clock ticking steadily in the background, and mapped it out. Eric's reputation, Laura's finances, both built on lies, both vulnerable. For the first time since Emily's death, I felt steady, focused. I wasn't destroying them. I was letting them destroy themselves. I was just giving them the push. I sent an anonymous email to regulators, exposing Eric's off-book deals. The next morning, the news broke. Eric's firm was under scrutiny. His name splashed across headlines, the golden boy suddenly tarnished. I imagined his face as his boss demanded answers, as his empire began to crumble. Laura was next. I tipped off her creditors with a simple letter. No signature, no trace. Within days, the calls began. Demands for payment, threats of lawsuits. Her carefully curated Instagram feed couldn't hide the truth anymore. Behind her perfect photos, her life was falling apart. I watched from a distance. I didn't need to gloat. Their own greed, their own selfishness, was doing the work for me. But then came the knock at my door. Eric and Laura stood there, pale, desperate shadows of their former selves. Eric's suit was wrinkled, his voice raw. "Dad, I lost my job. The firm fired me." Laura clutched her scarf, her eyes red and swollen. "They're taking my apartment. The debts, I can't pay them." "We're sorry, Dad, for everything. For Mom." Her words were cracks in a dam. But I saw their faces at Emily's funeral. I remembered the empty chairs. I remembered her dying hand in mine while they ignored her. "Sorry," I said, my voice cold. "You left her to die alone." Eric flinched. Laura sobbed. They reached for me, but I stepped back. My hand on the door. "You begged for my help once. I gave it every time. And when I needed you, you gave nothing." I closed the door. Their muffled cries faded into silence. My chest ached, but I didn't falter. The next morning, I sat in a courtroom. Across from me, Eric and Laura looked hollow, their lawyer whispering furiously. I laid out the receipts, the sacrifices, the money I had poured into them over the years. College tuition, cars, Laura's wedding, all of it. The judge's gavel came down, repayment ordered, interest added, their downfall sealed. Eric shouted, "You ruined us!" Laura wept into her hands, but I felt no joy, only a grim satisfaction. Justice wasn't sweet. It was heavy. Final. That evening, I walked to Emily's grave. The sunset burned pink across the sky as I knelt, setting her wedding ring gently on the stone. "It's done," I whispered. "They paid for what they did." The silence of the cemetery was broken only by the wind. I told her everything. The lies, the downfall, the courtroom. I promised I had kept my word. They had betrayed her, but I had not. I stood, brushing the dirt from my knees, and turned toward home. My life wasn't over. Emily was gone, but her dream, her love still lived in me. The children had chosen their path. Mine was different now. That night, for the first time in years, I slept without rage clawing at my chest. Emily's smile was the last image in my mind, soft and warm, guiding me into dreams of peace.